Hi, this is James from the Hornbill Technical Support Team, and this is a short tutorial to show you an overview of the customer properties and record and how they tie in with organizations, sites, charge centers, locations, departments and everything. So I'm going to show you every single setting against the customer properties and how they link into all these different associated entities. So as you can see here, we're just picked up from where we left off with the sites and departments. So we've actually created an organization. We've associated a main site and a department. And what I'm going to do here is actually fill in the rest of the parts here of the actual creation of a new customer. Now, customer ID, as you can see, what we're on here, this will usually be the ID, the unique ID for the actual customer record. So this usually matches your ID for your machine or your logon name. As long as it's unique, that's the main thing. So I'm just going to enter a unique ID and enter in a first name, last name. Let's select a gender. You can select a start date if you wish. And whether you've got a manager. Of course, it's not going to return any results in here because I haven't created any other contacts under the organisation of test.org. So I'm going to associate a charge centre because remember we associated them with the organisation itself. Main site's already selected, so this will be the sites that's associated with the organisation. So now you can peel over to the right hand side, any service subscriptions in there. There's 0 at the moment purely because the organisation hasn't been subscribed against any services and the department's not been subscribed against any services, and certainly the customer hasn't because it's not created yet. So that's the reason why that's blank at the moment. So on the contact details page, this is where you'd include your main contact details for this individual. So I'm just going to include support number. I won't give you my mobile or home number. So let's say support@hornbill.com and our Twitter ID. So you can include like things like home addresses as well if it applies to yourself. Role, you have where the department's actually stored, and other things such as job role, perhaps are known as, which is quite handy if you have contacts around the world, and if they can have difficult names. You can have if they're known as something else, it's quite handy to have in there. Maybe you can drop that on your call log forms as well. Okay, so now that's done from this top right hand side point of view. You now have options down here for service desk. Here you can associate a service level agreement and a priority that's linked with the particular customer. So particular customers can have different priorities and SLAs assigned to them purely because they could be further up the tree. They could have more importance in terms of what they deal with and the calls that they kind of log. So you can use this as an assessment of logging a particular call. It's just one option, but it's not mandatory. So you can actually use things like the impact and urgency, or just a manual selection of the priority and SLA when you actually log a call. So you can get also given like an assessment of the particular person with their technical, non-technical. Maybe there are different contacts. You can add different ones into here as well. So you can just use that as a kind of tool to see how you assess a particular person. Maybe they're not particularly happy at the moment of their assessment of their calls. Just kind of, you can use that as just a little handy tool. So that's all for this particular page here. I'm just going to click on Add Record and reopen. So it's saved already, so that's fine. So in the customer properties here, we've got also another 5 tabs available to us. So I'm going to go through these particular tabs. Here we have attributes. Now, attributes can be used for scripting. And for notifications, pop-up notifications, I suggest that you look into the help guides for these. It's a very helpful page. I'll include it in the annotation here, but it's a very helpful page for how to get these pop-ups to appear, or you can get things come up natural when you log a call on the bottom bar here. So it's literally at the bottom. You can have some writing appear saying this is a VIP, or treat with care, that sort of thing. So you can add any kind of warnings or information there. So that's quite handy. Training, you can assign, if you've got this already pre-configured, you can configure different courses, with start date, end date, and where it's completed or not. So you can associate these sort of training information in there. So it's quite handy to have that there if you have particular contacts. Associated requests. Again, this is going to be blank purely because we haven't logged any calls against a customer, but they will be there as soon as you do. Configuration items, any kind of CIs that you associate with the particular customer. And as you look here, it's got already our organization name in the top right hand side. It's grayed out purely because we've associated these CIs already with the organization. So now we're just going to associate it with a particular person and contact. So let's kind of click on select here. I'm going to say yes, it's the owner or sponsor. And there we go. So you can see also down here that the contact has James Test. So that's now all associated. And now the Service Desk Access tab. Now you can see here we have rights for self-service, we have rights for email and knowledge base notifications. Now it's important to know that these tick boxes are all linked to a unique number. So this is for allow access. This will be a particular number. For 2 boxes, it will be a particular number. It's all called web flag. So if I just simply save 4 of these tick boxes, and I'm just going to enter a password in here for self-service rights. So I want them to be able to access a self-service portal. I want them to be able to log requests, update requests, view requests. So these rights are all linked to a particular number in web flag. So what this means is you can set it in bulk. So you don't have to do it on an individual basis. If you have an LDAP import script, you can simply update the actual script itself, so it populates with a particular number when it brings in every new record. So let's just do a quick select statement. So James Test or Test James. There we go, that's great. So yeah, so it's given us a number of 15. So for 4 of these boxes being ticked, it's given us a number for 15. Of course, you can do a simple update statement to update UserDB, set web flag equals 15, and that will update every single user with them particular same rights. And you can also set the password, which is just password as a field. So that's quite handy if you want to set that in bulk. But if you want to review that initially, obviously just check it against one particular customer record before applying to all of your records. So you've got the option here to be able to view sites requests, organization requests, multiple organizations, to be able to close calls from the portal, and also to request remote support if you've got the BOMGAR integration. So these email rights on the right hand side here, these are related to autoresponder. So if you have autoresponder configured in terms of maybe this person's going to email into your Supportworks and you want a call to automatically be logged or a call automatically to be updated, I'm just going to minimize that, then basically that will be these rights are there as part of the process, so you do need to actually give rights to the person to be able to do that, otherwise it will fail in the actual autoresponder rule. So I'm going to tick these boxes here. So I'm going to save changes, and that's it. So you might want to have a look at the options as well for single sign-on. So this will give you options for the self-service password area. You can I believe there's also a tutorial for how to set up, so you can prompt for a password like your LDAP login, or you can set up for single sign-on where you go to the self-service portal. As long as you're logged in, it will automatically log you in, but that will depend on what's actually in this particular box here. So it could be underscore SSPI underscore the actual domain name, or it could be like an LDAP script, but you can also have just simply text passwords. So now that's all in there, so we can see now when we log an incident. I'm just going to type in James Test, and everything's in there already. It's given you information, it's given all the fields that you've populated, and away you go. That's it. So that's all around the actual customer and customer details. If you have any queries around the web flag or any other settings in there, please let me know.